Hello everyone! I am really excited about the Paper Towns movie, so I decided to make a Fault in Our Stars and Paper Towns jar, calling it the Fault in Our Paper Towns jar. To begin with, I placed the jar on a piece of paper and made an outline. And instead of cutting it, I ripped it out with my hands. Then I made sure it fits in the jar and wrote A for the first letter of the name of the person I'd be giving this to. Or it can also stand for Augustus Waters. Then I decorated it with infinities, pipe and a metaphor, some more infinities, stars, and glued it to the base of the jar from the inside. This way, the jar remains waterproof on the outside. Then using a paintbrush, I glued around the ripped edges. This way, when I add the paint, it won't soak into the paper. Then I used 3 different shades of green, ripped them in pieces like so, and made a mini green collage out of it by gluing it to a piece of transparent paper like this, kinda like paper mache. Then I peeled it off and then drew an outline of United States of America and Netherlands. Then I cut it out and traced it on the green paper. And cut that out as well. Then I applied glue all over the cutouts and glued them inside of the jar like so. Then I measured the amount of paper I need and drew 2 clouds and wrote the name of my friend I'll be giving this to. Then I glued that from the inside of the jar as well. And then again I applied glue around the clouds. I printed out 2 texts, one containing quotations from the Fault in Our Stars book and the other from the Paper Towns. And I added some text symbols as well. Then I ripped it and glued it again, similar to what I did with the green paper. I checked if it fits around the jar. Then I drew a skyline and at the very center, the roller coaster. Then I cut that out. And then glue it from inside of the jar. Then I used the remaining ripped papers and glued it at the bottom of the jar, connecting the base that we created before with the town. To make the Fault in Our Stars blue paint, I used different shades of blue marker pens and colored on the transparent paper. Then I applied some glue and used a paintbrush to mix it all. I placed that in a small container, added more glue, and mixed it with dark blue and silver glitter. Then I went ahead and painted the remaining areas, including the rim. Using white acrylic paint, I made 2 fishes from SeaWorld. Using red paper and folding it in half, I cut out a red pushpin similar to the one on the book cover. Then I punched a hole in it and wrote the following quotation. Using the white acrylic paint, I added some more details on the jar. For the rim of the jar, I took white ribbon and made 2 cuts. Each pair of cuts 2 centimeters apart. And using a thinner red ribbon, I put it through the cuts like so, to make it look like the lines on a map. Then using black acrylic paint, I wrote the following quotation on the roller coaster. Then I punched 2 holes on the red paper. Then using super glue, I placed one of the red dots on Indianapolis and the other one on Amsterdam. The red dots represent the red pushpin. I added super glue around the rim of the jar and put the ribbon around it. Using the remaining red ribbon, I attached the red pushpin I created before. Then finally, using some white string and super glue, I created constellations on the outside of the jar. I used white acrylic paint to create the stars. After the jar was made, I cut out several strips of white paper and folded them to make some stars like so. After making some more stars, I placed them all inside the jar and then covered it with a lid to give it to my friend. I really enjoyed making this jar and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I honestly cannot wait till the Paper Towns movie. I know waiting is a pain, but pain demands to be felt. Okay?